Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you can see a slight improvement in the lighting. I have another softbox lighting my background, hopefully while it's all grey, and when it's summertime I'll be able to use the natural light more, but we're gonna have to be kind of dealing with like the greyness right now because the UK is a bit meh. So I hope you can see a slight improvement. It was just looking a bit washed out and dark and grey. I mean, it still might when I go to edit this, who knows. Today I have another episode of Chit Chat Get Ready With Me where we talk about real things that are going on in society, in the beauty community, in the, you know, on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. I'm just finding these a little bit more interesting, and I hope you are as well, because not only do you get to see me apply new products or use and do kind of a little tutorial for you, it's more chilled. You get to find out a bit more about what I'm about, and maybe it'll be interesting. So today I have my standard cold coffee in my tea mug, and we are going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Riviera palette. As you can see, I've already got my base on, and yeah, we're just going to go in. So I'm going to take the colour Estate first, and then I'm going to deepen that in the crease with the colour Coastline. So yeah, let's get chit-chatting. So today's topic of conversation is basically how Kat Von D has majorly fucked up. If you guys haven't seen her most recent video, then I will link it down below for you. I'm not going to go to the trouble of kind of taking clips and things. If you want to go see it, then I suggest you do. I believe it's already got over 1 million views. And I believe that she titled it something along the lines of I'm not a Nazi and I'm not anti-vax. So you can already see the kind of topic of conversation that she's going to be covering in this. Now, the problem that I have already is that she didn't address the things at all that people hold as reasons for feeling that way about her. She started off by talking about the rumours that she was a Nazi sympathiser, she was anti-Semitic, that, you know, that kind of stuff. And she started off, and here's why it's already problematic. She started off by, I feel, trying to gain some amount of sympathy. Not only did she make it very clear to us that she was not white and that she was in fact a proud Latina, and then talked some Spanish for a few seconds. I don't know whether that's, you know, her trying to prove that that is the case. Anyone who follows her or, you know, has been like quite a big fan of her may already know that anyway. But the fact that you feel like that's giving you leverage or more of a reason for people to believe that you're not racist is just, it's completely ridiculous. Just because you are not white does not mean that you are not racist in some fashion. The two don't go together. And also I kind of feel like that's saying, oh, I can't be racist because my mate's black. Well, at that point, they're not your mate, they're just some token that you can kind of hold up to use to score points. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't sit right. It was a little bit cringy and it was quite uncomfortable to watch. Now, I understand that she's feeling very kind of got at, and, you know, she's kind of, you can see, like, she's clinging on to whatever she can to make you believe that that is the case. And, you know, it may well be that she is not racist, she's not anti-Semitic, she's not a, you know, Nazi sympathiser, who fucking knows at this point. She then goes on to discuss how when she was filming her TV show, I mean, we're talking 10 years ago, one of the other cast members, when she joined, she had an issue with because her presence drew more views for the TV show, the ratings went up, and he supposedly felt quite threatened by her. Now, the person that she's talking about, I believe, is Omi, but I'm sure you can kind of do your own research if you are more interested in that. Now, if all of this that she's claiming happened to her, obviously that's going to be a really horrible experience. She made it clear that him in particular, but maybe some of the other people in the shop, had kind of joined in, and that they had taken bits and pieces from the machine so that it wouldn't work, so that she couldn't work that day. This individual had supposedly, you know, gone out with the whole crew and her for a night out and grabbed her breast, which of course is not acceptable under any circumstances, and basically made her life a living hell, which sounds horrific. That is awful. But it felt like she was trying to gain some sympathy, and if all of that happened to her, then I think that's awful. And, you know, but there are also two sides to every story. We don't know what happened behind closed door. That's, you know, not for anyone to say. Just going in with a little bit of the Nivea Peach Shine Lip Balm. Pop that slightly darker colour Coastline again that we've just deepened the crease with under the lash line as well. So yeah, we don't know what happened. We weren't there. We can't say. That's her version of events, and you know, that sounds really fucking shit to go through. I get that. We then have the issue that she has only addressed one specific reason that people think that she is anti-Semitic. So she claims that she left some stuff in the studio, you know, 8x10s, I think she called them, so kind of like, you know, headshots that were signed by her for fans or people who wanted to take some for the shop or whatever, and obviously this guy had access to them. And what she tells us happened was that he had forged an anti-Semitic message in her handwriting on this signed headshot, and he had then approached the TV guys and said, this is unacceptable, she needs to be kicked off, blah blah blah. I believe that he himself is actually Jewish as well, and he'd, you know, kicked up a big fuss about it, as you would do if this had actually happened. Of course, that's just completely and utterly unacceptable. She ended up leaving. She was not ever kicked off the show, I don't believe, and what happened then was, because she had brought in so many ratings, the company actually then offered her her own show, which I believe is LA Inc. So some people believe she is, some people believe she isn't. The problem we had is that I believe several different people have had the writing analysed. I'm just going in with that blue colour on a finger now. Several different people have had this analysed, and it's still, you know, some people have said that it is her handwriting, some people say that it isn't her handwriting. We don't know. Either way, what was written on there was disgusting. It is completely and utterly unacceptable. There is no doubt to that. Now, she did not address any of the other reasons that people have given over the years as to why they think that she is anti-Semitic. She addressed one thing that happened nearly a decade ago that people had an issue with. I'm just going to zoom you in a little bit, that's probably nicer, isn't it? So, I don't know how much you guys are aware of why these rumours started. That was one of the things that occurred, but she did not address any of the other things that people like to use as proof that she is anti-Semitic. These things include dating Jesse James, who had a picture released of him where I believe he was doing a Nazi salute and wearing a Nazi cap. He claimed that it was a joke gift from his Jewish grandfather. Take from that what you will. It's not, you know, my place to judge whether that's true or false. I don't know anything about him. So she, you know, guilt by association is not necessarily always particularly helpful, but she does have associations with people that also have kind of done shitty, stupid things. Not only that, she had a lipstick colour that she released that was going to be called Selection with the K instead of the C. Now this is a word that is actually banned in Germany. It is highly inappropriate if you know anything about history or you just have common sense. It's not a cool spelling. It is actually a word with that particular spelling that has massive connotations to how people were selected to die during World War II. So using that and posting it on social media, she then did change the name in the end because obviously, naturally, normally unacceptable, and there was a massive outcry. She also posted a picture where it was, I think it was the Lock-It concealer or something like that. It was the image of the concealer against a beautiful. I mean, the imagery is stunning, but the connotations of the imagery, it's just like, how can you not fucking catch this? It's so not difficult. It was the Lock-It concealer, I believe, against a really stunning background of cotton fields, and the tagline was, let our concealer do the hard work for you. Come on! Like, are you kidding me? It is just, I really don't know how her PR team or anyone that helps manage the social media or anything like that isn't fired and didn't catch it straight away. And oh, it's common sense and respectfulness and just thinking about things before you do them, a lot of which doesn't occur on social media. I'm very aware of that. But I just kind of thought, how can this not be caught beforehand? It's just, I mean, I don't even have any words. I really don't. I'm just going in with that dark colour called Palm on the outer corners. So yeah, this is not the first time that things have been said about her of this fashion. It's not the first time that she has been caught out doing things that are not particularly PC. Also, if you take the fact that her current husband, as well as one of her ex-boyfriends being caught doing a Nazi salute in that stupid hat, her current husband does have, I believe now it's actually the reverse swastika coming out of a lotus on his neck. If you just Google a picture of him, then I'm sure you can see it for yourself. Now this is actually a religious symbol commonly used in, I believe, Hindu and Buddhist practice, and it was not actually a symbol of what we know it to stand for. It was kind of hijacked by the Nazis for use in that fashion that we all know it is for now. Now, I really don't have an issue with this personally. I just think it's a little stupid. I kind of feel like it's one of those pretentious things that, like, people that think they're cool kind of get on themselves so that it can start a conversation, so they can talk about how, oh, look at me, I'm so intelligent, didn't you know that it was actually a religious symbol beforehand, you know, that kind of thing. If you put that on your body now, the connotations in our society are completely and utterly different, and that is something that when you are getting anything tattooed on your body or wearing slogans or doing anything of that nature where this kind of says this is what I stand for, you really need to think about it, because it doesn't look good. And you might be correct in saying that it's a Hindu symbol and a Buddhist symbol and it was not used for that initially, but in our society nowadays it has those connotations because it does. You just have to think about that. That is something that you absolutely need to consider when you're putting anything like that on you, and the connotations that that has for you. Now, he's a bit of a fucking shitty person anyway, I would say, because there's been a few kind of articles and things about how he hasn't spoken to his 21-year-old daughter for many years because she slept with one of his friends when she was underage, so technically that would be rape because she would have been 13 or 14. Don't know how that works, but there you go. So, I mean, I have a disapproval for the person that she's with now anyway, and that is my own personal bias. I just don't think that's acceptable at all. But she seems to surround herself with people that perhaps don't think about things they do, or how that comes across, and she also seems to make some really damn stupid decisions where PR and imagery and name selection come into it. And I think that not addressing any of those things has really kind of made this video obsolete and actually done some damage, because when you say you're going to explain yourself and clear the air and make it really clear why these things about you have been going around the internet, why these rumours have been rife, and then you don't address the majority of them, that kind of makes people go, well, you didn't address that because you didn't have an excuse, you didn't address that because that is the way you feel, you didn't address that because why didn't you address it? So that's the problem. And I can absolutely get behind the people that are really frustrated that they thought they were going to get some answers and and then haven't, because her products are cruelty-free and vegan. The ones that I tried in the past, I don't actually use her stuff anymore, and that is a moral stance, especially after the anti-vax thing, and I will be getting onto that in just a second. You know, her products are really good quality. The Lock-It Concealer was fantastic. I tried a couple of the liquid lipsticks, they were really good. The contour palette was a massive hit. But her brand is now damaged, and it does feel like when she kind of gives you a teeny bit and makes an announcement and makes a video, when her brand is going down and she's kind of been cancelled, that she's maybe just doing it to save her ass, especially when she doesn't actually talk about any of the issues that people really want cleared up. So there are my thoughts on that and why it's problematic. The next thing that I will get into is her stance on anti-vaccine. But before then, I would just like to share with you the Sample Beauty pigments. I've got the colour Tinsel. I'm going to pop a little bit of this just over that blue colour. This is really glittery. I'm going to pop a little bit of the NYX Glitter Glue first, but I will just show you how freaking beautiful this pigment is. Oh my god. In this same video, she addresses the fact that she supposedly, I mean, she titled it, "I'm not anti-vax," right? But nowhere in this video does she correct us and tell us what she is or isn't. What she says is that she and her husband will not be releasing or making public her baby's medical records. I don't think anyone wants to know exactly her baby's medical records, or, you know, every single thing that goes wrong with her child. I don't think that's what people were asking for. I think people were outraged that she had a massive platform on which she announced that she was anti-vaccine, which could possibly influence other people that do not do their own research to follow along with this, and that then therefore has an effect on people around those people that choose not to vaccinate their children. What she now says is that she's a new mum and she researched everything, and at that point in time they were really reluctant to vaccinate the kid. And I understand that. I'm not a parent yet. I would love to be one day. But it's something that I can absolutely understand, having, you know, watched a lot of my friends have children now and all of that kind of stuff. It is something that you do, you know, you want the best for your baby, and that's all any parent wants. And so I totally and utterly understand doing all the research, getting as much information as possible, and making what you feel is the best decision for your child. That is just a natural thing to want to do for any parent. What was basically said in this video was that they were now just going to take advice from their paediatrician, which, you know, let's face it, if she's vegan and she's not, you know, and she supposedly is anti-vax according to her previous post, she could easily go and find a paediatrician that agrees with her stance and you know, will not vaccinate the child, right? So by not releasing this information or telling us what she's done, I feel like she's kind of confirming that she's still anti-vaccine, to be honest, because what she hasn't done is correct us and say, well, actually, I'm not anti-vaccine and we have vaccinated my child. What she's basically said is, and this is something that she did bring up, she said that if she had known that it would have caused such an uproar at the time, then she would not have released that information about where they were at with whether they do or don't vaccinate their child at that current time. So she's not saying I'm not anti-vaccine. What she's saying is I'm just not going to tell you what we've done now. Which is not... Why did she make that video in the first place? If you are going to release information and make such a bold statement like that, because we do live in a world where vaccinating your children is kind of considered standard, and my stance on this is that I will be vaccinating my children. I think it is particularly dangerous not to, you know, it's the herd immunity, all sorts of other things come into it. Go watch some videos from doctors and things, they'll be able to explain it much better. than me. However, there are exceptions to the rule. If you know, babies have certain conditions or autoimmune diseases and stuff, there can be complications by giving vaccinations. Now that's something for you to discuss with your doctor, etc, etc. So I'm aware that not all parents don't vaccinate for the same reasons. Some parents think it gives your kids autism, some parents claim it's not vegan, some parents just don't want to, some parents think it's, you know, putting poison into your baby. I get all that. Everyone has different reasons for doing different things. It's not what this discussion is about. But when she realised that the majority of people thought that she was making a bad decision and that could not only influence many, because she's got millions of followers, to do the same, she realised that she had fucked up. And what she's done now is kind of just tell us to piss off. That's what she's done. Now, I don't care what she does. She's a mum. She is in charge of her baby. She knows her baby best. And every single parent, whether we agree or not, thinks that they are doing the best for their child. And that's something that you can't argue with. You just have to accept it. Every parent, even if you think, God, you're making such a mistake, every parent honestly only wants the best for their child and thinks that they are doing the best for their child. I'm going to go in with the Revolution. This is the new Revolution Pro. I think it's called the Skinny Liner. It's just a Kohl liner. But what I have an issue with is the fact that she may be making decisions that are not recommended by medical professionals, that she is telling people about, not sharing her reasons or research as to why, and she has a massive influence. That's my issue with this. Not that her decision is her decision, because that's her decision. I might disagree with that and have, you know, an abundance of scientific evidence to suggest that her decision is not correct. However, she honestly believes that she's doing the best for her child, and no one can disregard that. The problem comes with, as I just said, her massive influence over her audience. That is the issue here. When you come out and you say you have a stance like this, that is nowadays kind of goes against the grain and is quite a polarizing topic and quite an important topic, you can't then just go, oh, I said this, I haven't explained myself, but I'm now just not going to tell you what I've done. That just doesn't work. Like, it's not okay. So my camera died unhelpfully. We're going to go in with the Revolution Pro. This is unprecedented. These are the new things they've come out with. It's a stick with a cream product that you can use on lips, eyes, face. It's got quite a creamy formula, so I'm just going to take that over the lips. I'm going to go in with this Ultimate Intense Stay Auto Liner by LA Girl. This is the nude one. It's called Nonstop Nude. This is so nice. I'm then going to go in with my favourite nude Lustre Revlon lip gloss. This is the Nude Blush 10 Colour Blush Palette by BH Cosmetics. I'm going to go in with like a mixture of the middle shades and maybe a little bit of this kind of ginger nut colour. Kat Von D, a little bit problematic at the moment, I feel. The problem I have, as I said, is her influence, not her own personal choices. I feel like as a parent, as I said before, you do what you honestly think is best for your child, and that's kind of how parenting works, and I totally understand that. But when you have such a massive influence and you really do make a statement by releasing information claiming that you are not going to vaccinate your children, or, you know, you're making quite polarizing decisions regarding, you know, health or your lifestyle or things, and you have such a massive influence over people, it's so important to explain those, back them up with research, evidence, give your reasons why. And especially if you are going to make a video about these things, saying that you're going to explain them, if you then choose not to, there's no point in doing the video. And I do feel really sorry for her. Her brand's obviously not doing very well. There's this whole kind of cancel culture that's feeding into this as well. I do kind of feel like it is one of those things where she's probably made the decision to come on and supposedly explain some of these things that she hasn't explained because of that. But I do also really feel for her, because the whole nature of social media, I know that she's been getting an awful lot of hate and, you know, verbal abuse and written things, and that must be really awful, and I don't condone that behaviour any which way. I think it's so wrong, and that's one of the biggest problems that we have with social media, and I have actually addressed this in one of my previous videos. But yeah, that's kind of my take on her recent video. I would love to hear what you have to say about it. There's also a really interesting video that I will leave a link for down below that I really think you guys should go and watch. It's called Middle Ground, and they do a lot of little videos where two people of different camps on one topic kind of get together and discuss what they feel about certain statements that are given to them, and it's really nice to see the majority of people really listening to the other side, and it's quite an interesting concept, and that's kind of how I feel things should be done on the internet, but it's not always that. So I'll leave that down below. The topic that I am going to link for you is the one on pro-vaccine versus anti-vaccine. It might be an interesting watch for you guys, and yeah, I'm going to leave you with a little review of the Anastasia Riviera palette. I've only used a few of these shades. I've swatched quite a few of them though. I have to say the matte colours are really beautiful. I think you can do some really kind of nice neutral looks. These are all a little bit more warm toned. You have got a matte white for a highlight. You've got some nice shimmery pops of colour. You've got this really cool like cabana colour. It's almost like a mustardy yellowy tone with a little bit of like brown or khaki mixed in. You've got some nice peachy ones. The matte shades are all really beautiful, soft, and blend out really nicely. These shimmers are to die for. I can imagine if you put a little bit of Fix Plus or something to really kind of hype up that metallicness, you get a really beautiful, kind of like what I've done with the pigment over the eyes. I really think this palette is really versatile. You could do some fabulous festival looks with it. It is quite expensive, but Anastasia Beverly Hills is an expensive brand. If you have the money and you don't have some of these colours, and you are looking for something that you could do both wearable and more kind of interesting looks with some pops of colour, then I would say it's definitely worth it. Packaging is gorgeous. I do feel because this is this kind of canvas material, it's probably going to get a little bit dirty, especially because it's got the white here. So if you've got drawers where you've got a lot of palettes and things and they get a little bit powdery and stuff, this is probably going to take some of that pigment and get a little bit dirty. But if you don't mind that, then the packaging is beautiful. The product sits really nicely. The formula is brilliant and I can't really fault it, to be honest. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you're enjoying these more chit chat, get ready with me style ones where we talk about some interesting topics, then please do give this video a thumbs up. Let me know your feelings on the video if you've watched it. As I said before, I will definitely leave the links down below of a couple of things that I think you might find interesting. I will also leave a link somewhere up here or down below for you of my kind of base routine. The only difference is I haven't put all of the kind of highlighting products on, so I'll leave that down below for you to have a look at as well, and maybe link the other couple of chit chatty videos that I've done. And another Ready With Me video will be up on Friday. We're going to be discussing the Me Too movement, feminism, and why I think some of these things are problematic and people maybe aren't joining in on the conversation. So if you think that sounds like your kind of bag, then please do definitely hit me up on Friday. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. It's hannahjojanes, all lowercase, all one word, and I hope to see you in the next video. Love you lots, have a good day wherever you are, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye.